I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity project. I respect staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will. Got the dark matter token going up, I can tell. Hey, I can tell this is the start of something fresh. Shout out Hex Revision and Donna Hex, yes. I confess, Hexicans don't stress, cause as a community we one up. So tell me, are you in, or tell me, are you out? Do you want to win, or do you chase the clout? What is this really about? The treasury and lottery. If you meant dark tokens, you can get a part of it. So how does it work? Let me explain. First you buy the dark token, now you're in the game. Then you mint the dark and get a fuel cell. That's an NFT, one that earns yield. As long as you have it, it feels like magic. But if you vaporize the NFT, that's tragic. So most think crypto is a game. Are you here for the fame, or here to make a name? See, Hexicans reign, we create our own lane. I thought I told you, we the new financial gain. AGProject.io with the flow. And if you know what I know, then you know what I know. That's how it go. Something like to support the team, the dream. Public service announcement, t.me/anti-gravity saga is the telegram. Tap in. It's for y'all. I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity project. I respect staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will. Got the dark matter token going up, I can tell.
Hey kids, this is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Cuatro Cinco Studios in my mom's basement, and today is another twofer. We've got a couple streams. I'm going to do this stream where we're going to do the talk to text on chapter 5, take notes, and continue crunching forward in this book, Rings of Dust, and then I'm going to kill this stream, pop up another one, and show you guys what we're doing right now on our website with the project, agproject.io. So we have the darker token coming out soon. Right now, you can earn free crypto. That's right, you can earn free crypto by simply going to the page and interacting with it and finding bugs, finding any problems that you guys have, critical, medium, or low. We'll pay you in dark, and that dark is going to be pretty valuable coming up as we have a snapshot where we're going to have an airdrop of the new token, the darker matter token, and that's going to be coming out really soon. Like I said, we're testing out the front end and the last few audits here on security, trying to make sure that the boat doesn't leak, no water in the boat. And yeah, we'll go into that. Let me jump here in our Telegram really quick. Oh my gosh, look at this new Kasori iconic review, the best air fryer yet. Yeah, Triplet Dad. He's got an air fryer here that he just picked up. It looks pretty amazing. So what's PFAS free? Oh, we'll have to watch that at some point. Good to know. So I just put our link for Telegram, for YouTube in our Telegram channel. If you're not in our Telegram, that is a place to check out the working live living document as we change and write and rewrite and figure out how to fold all of our tokenomics into this beautiful story and narrative. And we just look forward to more and more amazing stuff coming from the community. So t.me/anti-gravity saga. That is where you can go get, you can see the links to the book and all that other stuff. You can also see some of the previous memes that we have and art contests as well. So shout out to Corey, an investor, WizKid. He came up with that rap, and then Zephyr Trips and a bunch of art from the community made that music video at the beginning, which is about this whole project where we have this cool story, cool art, cool tokenomics, and one of the best damn communities hands down in humanity. So yeah, it's a token, it's an NFT project, it's a game of chicken, it's the most scarce token in the universe, and we've got the art and the story and the cool stuff to go along with this adventure. So we're gonna share some of that with you right now. I've got my popcorn ready, so I can just sit here and eat popcorn and listen to the story. I've also got my pen and my piece of paper here, so I can write down notes that we might need to fix or adjust as we tweak it. And I've got it already pulled up here in Edge. If you guys want to listen to the book rather than read the text, just ask AI, say, how do I listen to this on my phone? Or how do I listen to this on my laptop or desktop? And it'll come up with a pretty easy way. The way that it told me to do that's pretty good here for streaming purposes is I just open the file inside of Microsoft Edge. I'm finally using Microsoft for something. And then it has you right click it and it has a read aloud thing where it reads the text. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump in there. I'm going to mute my voice here so it doesn't pick up any crazy background noise. And then we'll get into that. Chapter 7, actually. Yeah, Chapter 7, Talk to Text, Rings of Dust. We actually did, I think we started at 4 because we played Chapter 1 and 2 several times. And 3, they're all available on that link inside our Telegram. But you can go back and listen to those if you're missing them, or go back to the previous YouTube streams. So here we go. Without any further ado, I'm going to pull that up. Oh, and I'm going to share my screen too, because it's actually going to show the words on screen. So if you guys are like, wait, what did he say? You can actually watch it on screen, go through the words. So I'll make that a little bit bigger and make that easier to see as well.
The plane's wheels bounced on the runway, and the speed brakes deployed with a bellowing whoosh. The sudden deceleration pressed Cole sideways in his chair. Ricardo calmly braced himself. BitBoy was jarred awake and, not recognizing his surroundings, screeched and howled, thrashing around in his chair. An attendant had a cart ready planeside, and the corporal hoisted their bags onto it. Cole gripped one of the cart handles and dragged it along, with BitBoy clinging to his back like a living backpack. Armed guards escorted Cole and Ricardo through broad, mirrored doors reflecting the warm, setting sun. Ricardo cracked a smile. A lot has changed since you took a sabbatical, bud. More than just the building. Massive concrete pillars ascended several floors, supporting a high-arched ceiling with industrial lights hanging above. Cole and Ricardo approached 4 individuals at the corridor's far end. At the head of the group loomed an elderly man in a tan general's uniform and hat, with a massive ring on each of his gnarled but welcoming hands. Well, look what the cat dragged in. If it isn't Captain Cole Nova, the crown jewel of the Federation, Chancellor DeMint, Cole said. I received your letter, sir. The Chancellor nodded politely and returned his attention to Cole, gripping his hand like a vice. Cole forced a chuckle at the perfunctory greetings. In casual juxtaposition, another man stood to the right of Chancellor DeMint, wearing a crisp, white polo with a Federation Council Command logo, designer glasses, and white sneakers. He extended an easy greeting. Vance Black, Operations. I hope y'all are rested. We've got 1 week to get you fit for service. Cole managed to extract his hand from the Chancellor's iron grip and hurriedly shook Vance's hand. Vance exuded an air of unmistakable confidence. Now let's get you presentable, DeMint said. Black will show you to your bunks. You'll want to take advantage of tonight. We begin at 0430 hours. Dement motioned to two young corpsmen, who came to collect BitBoy for kenneling and cleaning. Although Cole and Ricardo had managed to hose some of the gore off of him, the monkey still personified an entire crime scene. Cole worried about parting with BitBoy but was also excited about being alone for a few hours. I'll need you to read and sign these papers, Black said, handing Cole and Ricardo a small stack of legal documents. BitBoy walked hand in hand with the two corpsmen down the hallway. Cole had to peel his eyes from the scene to read the documents in his hand. Elaborate fine print about upgraded AI, proprietary dermal, and other legalese. Both men signed the last page after a quick skim. As Cole signed the final document, the pen's tip scratched against the paper with a finality that seemed to echo through the sterile room, and a small silver device embedded within the table activated. It released a cloud of microscopic particles that shimmered in the harsh overhead light. The nanopowder settled onto his skin, and for a moment nothing happened. Then, the particles burrowed into his skin like countless tiny needles, each one a pinpoint of cold fire. The veins in his hand lit up, glowing faintly as the particles spread through his bloodstream, racing up his arm and across his body. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Nova," a voice said directly in his mind, startling him. It was cold and authoritative, unmistakably feminine, lacking any hint of warmth. "I am Iris, the imbued recursive intelligence system. I will be your guide and assistant throughout your reactivated service." Cole blinked, trying to shake off the strange sensation of another voice in his head. He nodded, feeling a slight tingle in his hand. He dismissed it as nerves. "Thank you, Iris. Let's get to work." "Well, damn. If I had to have another voice in my head, Iris, I sure am glad it's that of a beautiful woman." Ricardo's voice interrupted Cole's thoughts, his tone laced with dark humor. Cole shot him a bewildered look, rolling his eyes, puzzled by Ricardo's reaction. "Officer Drummond and Chief Glenn have already arrived and gone through orientation for this mission. Please proceed to the decontamination chamber," Iris instructed. "We will begin your training immediately." "Guess it'll be a crew of 5, Cole noted. Cole followed the directions, entering a sterile white chamber that hummed with the sound of hidden machinery. The walls glowed soft blue as he was sprayed with a disinfectant mist. Moments later, the door at the opposite end of the chamber opened, and he entered a small briefing room where Ricardo was already seated. Vance stood at the front. A man in his late 30s with Taylor Glenn, embroidered on his jumpsuit and a deadpan expression, sat at a circular table. Next to him was a pleasant-looking plump female, also in her 30s, Sam Drummond, stitched on her name patch. A holographic display of Saturn and its surrounding space floated in the center console. "Gentlemen, meet your crew for this mission." Through a side door, a private led BitBoy into the room. "Let's get down to business. We have a very tight window for this mission. The units we deployed are nearing the point of no return, at which point Saturn's gravity will claim them. We must retrieve them and any additional units we can gather." "How long do we have?" Cole asked, taking a seat as BitBoy joined him in a partnering chair. 9.5 years from the initial deployment, Vance replied. "We estimate just under 2 years to get there and position ourselves. A few months for the retrieval operations, and then 2 months to return using its energy to expedite our journey back." "Why is this mission so urgent now?" Ricardo asked. Vance's expression turned somber. "Because all the vapor is about to be sucked into Saturn's gravitational pull. We can't let that happen. The retrieval window is closing fast. It's a damn rapture." Chancellor Dement entered the room, his presence commanding immediate attention. "Listen up, everyone. This mission is not just about retrieval. It's about securing the future of the Federation. We cannot afford any mistakes." His voice was a blend of authority and control. "You will follow Iris's instructions to the letter. There is no room for error. Understood?" "Yes, sir," Cole and Ricardo responded in unison. Sam and Taylor nodded obediently. Dement's eyes bore into them, ensuring his message was clear. Good. Now, gear up and be ready for launch. This is our one shot, and we cannot afford to miss it. As they left the briefing room, Cole and Ricardo walked beside their new teammates. Cole Nova. He introduced himself as he stuck out his hand to Taylor, who let it hang for half a beat before extending his. Your reputation precedes you, Taylor said. The tone was not complimentary. He challenged Cole's grip and looked past him with his eyes. Ricardo instantly repositioned himself next to Sam. Hey there. Looks like we're in good company, he said warmly. A touch of color flashed in Sam's cheeks as she reached out and took Heavy's hand. I read your profiles on the way here. You and Officer Nova have quite the resume. We look forward to assisting you with this vital mission. She walked over to BitBoy. Wow, the last remaining EM Cyber. So much cuter than I imagined. She smiled at BitBoy. I'll make sure you get a banana from the chow hall later. He'd probably prefer a perfume bottle if you have one, Cole quipped. They walked down the hall in a pack. Taylor made no attempt to greet Heavy and BitBoy, which was okay with them. As Cole walked, he couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom mixed with a sense of determination. They had a mission, and the stakes had never been higher. In their quarters, Cole and Ricardo prepared their gear in silence. The weight of the mission pressed heavily on their minds. Cole's thoughts drifted to Iris, whose cold efficiency was starting to show signs of unexpected behavior. He noticed slight differences in how it interacted with him but brushed them aside. He couldn't afford to be distracted. Iris, give me a status update on our preparations, Cole said, breaking the silence. All systems are operational, and the crew is ready, Iris replied. The voice in his head was unsettlingly clear, as though someone were whispering directly into his ear. In a dorm just across the glossy hall, data technician Samantha Drummond and crew chief Taylor Glenn were unpacking their personal gear. Ever the alpha, Taylor assumed the top bunk, throwing his ergonomic pillow and backpack on the mattress. His 20 years in the Federation were tallied by promotions at or before the regular pace. Sam watched him claim the top bunk and said nothing. She unzipped her duffel and set her gear on the lower bunk with the unhurried calm of someone who had long ago stopped competing for things she didn't want. Tucked between her rolled socks and a backup hard drive was a weathered patch, black background, white stencil of a fist inside a circle, that she'd sewn onto the inside lining of her bag where no inspection would find it. She pressed it flat with one thumb before closing the duffel. Taylor unpacked with the efficient, deliberate movements of a man who had done this in identical rooms for 20 years. He said nothing to Sam. He didn't need to. The top bunk was already his, with Iris guiding them through all their ship's new tech innovations and amenities. The week of training and instructions flew by. BitBoy was the only crew member not inoculated with the electronic spore. The 4 humans now processed and retained more information than at any other point in their lives. After one particularly strenuous module, Ricardo turned to Cole, horsing around to break the tension. I know Kung Fu. As Cole rolled out of his bunk, his hand beat the button on his alarm before it could go off and break the silence in the room of 3. Iris already had his daily schedule programmed and would wake him directly, but he still wasn't entirely used to integrating her into his life. His sleep was mixed with fits of tossing and turning, even though he knew he needed the rest. He could never sleep the night before a launch. Some things never change, he thought to himself. Now that he was up, he could hear the buzz of people outside. As he entered the hall, everyone walked slightly faster than usual. He carried his bathroom kit to the bathroom, knowing this was his last hot shower for the next few months. After a forgettable breakfast, the crew entered the main operations room, where Taylor and Sam were already busy with pre-launch preparations. The room buzzed with the hum of machinery and the faint sounds of the ship's systems coming online. The crew grabbed their gear and belongings and headed to the launch pad. The spaceship loomed on the launch pad, its sleek, metallic frame gleaming. Ascending the ladder, Cole's footsteps were echoed by Ricardo, Taylor, Sam, and BitBoy. Inside the spacecraft, the crew stowed their belongings in clearly marked bins and compartments. Cole sank into the command chair, enveloped by the silence and stillness that belied the chaos outside. He surveyed the control panel. Closing his eyes, he visualized the forthcoming ordeal, the suit's familiar pressure points, and the sequence of actions that would propel them into the unknown. But as the ship came alive with the hum of startup sequences and the soft beeping of system diagnostics, an unwelcome guest invaded Cole's solitude: fear, a visceral, gut-wrenching terror that constricted his chest and set his nerves on edge. Memories of past failures, the echo of screams, and the searing pain of loss flooded back. The cockpit, once a place of control, now felt like a trap closing around him, threatening to suffocate him under the weight of his dread. Ricardo and BitBoy clambered into the cabin. Ricardo strapped himself in while Cole helped BitBoy into a seat next to his own. "Hey, BitBoy, ready for another adventure?" Ricardo said, chuckling. BitBoy chirped happily in response, extending his mantis blades briefly. Amid the cacophony of beeping systems and the whirl of machinery, Taylor and Sam entered the cabin, moving with focused intent. With Cole in the center, the crew was complete. BitBoy, with his usual curious gaze, looked around, sensing the tension but not fully grasping the human apprehension that filled the air. Ever the stoic guardian, Ricardo double-checked his harness, offering silent nods of encouragement to Cole. Taylor and Sam, embodying a blend of youth and experience, meticulously went through their pre-launch rituals, their hands steady as they toggled switches and scanned the screens before them. Their precise and deliberate actions wove a tapestry of collective endeavor, a unity of purpose transcending the sum of their parts. Together, they vocalized their readiness. Their voices converged in a harmony of shared resolve and anticipation. Captain Nova checking in. "We are locked in and ready for pre-flight check." Initiating pre-flight check, Iris reported in their heads. "Comms online," Taylor said. "Vitals within range," Iris said. "Golden Dawn online." BitBoy offered a grunt. "All systems green and ready for launch," Iris said. In the control room, Dement addressed the sleep-deprived engineers. "Everybody got their coffee? It's going to be a long day." He touched the intercom. "Cole, do you have anything to say to our engineers? Thank you all for everything you guys have done to get us to this point. This is for everyone who wasn't able to join us." The engineers cheered. One of the senior engineers in the back of the room started the chant, quietly at first, "Jackpot, jackpot." And the others joined in, louder and louder. Vance stepped up to the microphone. "I think the feeling is mutual, Captain Nova. Good work, everyone. This is just the beginning." Vance paused for effect, then confirmed, "Golden Dawn, you are clear for launch." Cole's hands, steady and determined, hovered over the console, ready to initiate the launch sequence. Ricardo and BitBoy, secured in their seats, braced for the imminent thrust. The cabin was a symphony of anticipation, each member acutely aware of their role in the dance between man and machine. With a final glance at his crew, Cole completed the ignition sequence. "In the pipe," Cole said. 5 by 5. The engines, dormant giants beneath them, awakened with a primal growl, escalating into a thunderous roar that resonated through the hull. The vibration was a tangible force, gripping them with invisible hands as the Golden Dawn rebelled against the Earth's hold. The ascent began, a relentless push that melded them into their seats, the force of gravity asserting its dominance even as they sought to escape its bounds. The cabin, bathed in the glow of instrument panels, became a capsule of hope and fear hurtling towards the unknown. Outside, the atmosphere clawed at the ship, the maelstrom of resistance that tested the integrity of their vessel. The Golden Dawn responded with grace and purpose. It sliced through the slowly thinning air. Cole, his gaze locked on the readouts before him, felt a surge of adrenaline. Every sensation was intimately familiar and utterly terrifying. As they broke through the atmosphere, the resistance fell away, replaced by the profound silence of space. The darkness outside the viewport was absolute. The Golden Dawn, now free from the shackles of gravity, glided into the void, its engines a soft hum in the tranquility of space. The team, bound by duty, looked ahead to the challenges and wonders that awaited them, their journey into the unknown just beginning. With Iris following the flight path on autopilot and the G-forces of launch a distant memory, the crew was now free to unbuckle and detach themselves from their seats. Iris guided each crew member in their heads to their stations. For Ricardo, this was an irritating echo of what he knew. For Sam, Iris was a reassuring echo of her movements. As Taylor stood at the communication station, he was engrossed in the ship's diagnostics, hands moving with practiced ease over the controls. "Taylor," Cole said, announcing his presence with a gentle cough. "How's everything coming along?" Taylor turned, his eyes scanning Cole and Ricardo with curiosity and skepticism. "Captain Nova, Ricardo." His hand ran unconsciously along the smartcom in his pocket, hoping he'd remembered to turn vibration mode on for incoming message notifications. Sam was relaxed at her console, surrounded by a nest of monitors. Her eyes sparkled with intelligence, and she had an air of confidence that put Cole at ease. Her lighthearted approach balanced the situation's intensity, making the grueling preparations more bearable. This being a Federation mission, no one thought to check for other spacecraft in the area. An Alpha Corp cargo ship cruised along the interior of a large empty cavern, aside from a few packed weapon crates. Just out of radar range, a separate smaller ship scuttled along, this one being an old, decommissioned transport shuttle abandoned by the failed Republic of East Asia. It was filled to the brim with radio amps for long-range communication. Inside was a crew of 3. Their hand-sewn insignias collected the frost from their breath. One of the men turned to the others. "Are we considered drops or snowflakes at this temp?"
So at the end of that scene right there, you've got this old, cheap, um, worn out spacecraft with some interesting people in it, and they talk about a raindrop. So I think you guys know where those guys are going. And then you also have that Alpha ship with a lot of weapons and a lot of room in it. So it sets the stage for some interesting stuff going on. There's several things I wrote down here that I'm going to feed it into Claude to start finessing and fixing a couple of problems right here. Because we did switch from one to the other. Oh, another thing I wanted to do here was, yeah, first version. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna share this with the Hex Glenn's in the house. Bananas. You got bananas, we got believe in yourself. Good to see both of you guys. I'm gonna feed some notes here into Claude live, and if I can, I'll read you the changes that it made, both forward and backward and inside of this chapter. So we'll turn on the microphone and we'll just start telling it what may need to be added to or saved for later. I'm going to go through my notes right now. Okay. And it's much nicer to have a robot read that than me. We will have a better version, audio version, as things come on, but we really have to finish the actual draft and get it edited, and then we can move into the audiobook that is more, it's going to be better sounding than that. Although that wasn't really that bad. A couple inflections here and there, or reading numbers weird. But here we go. You ready? Just finished listening to the new chapter 7. Some notes and feedback. When Cole says this is for the people that couldn't be here, he used to be referring to people that died from the sickness that is no longer part of the book. Now he's referring to the crew members and the people that were killed at the beginning of the book in the explosion. So we might want to make that a little more clear. Also, when Cole was using Gracie at the beginning of the book, Gracie was kind of like Siri or Alexa, where it doesn't respond until you talk to it. Iris being inside of his head has got to be very, very intrusive and unnerving, and we need to feel that a lot more. And then obviously when we return to Gracie in the end of the book, he's going to feel that relief of having privacy in his own headspace again. Sam is a plant from the collective, so she's sent to entangle or seduce Heavy Hitter and make him sympathetic to the cause of the collective. But over time, Samantha and Heavy Hitter create a real romance, not just the plans, and that can also come up as a point of conflict or struggle or tension later when Ricardo realizes that he was being played at the beginning, and that obviously can be resolved, kind of like basically a Hallmark movie or a rom-com chick flick. Okay, also Bitboy is not inoculated by Iris. This can come into play when we're sniffing out Iris and Taylor later. We can see some way. Stop recording. Some way that Bitboy starts to communicate to Cole in some way that something is off, that Iris is giving different directions to Taylor than he's given to the rest of the crew. Now, Sam, because she was working with the collective, she has an antidote. So she still has Iris there, but Iris doesn't have access to her thoughts and her memories and know what's going on. But it still is there. So she kind of like has this patch where she's not as affected by Iris as the others, until, of course, Gracie comes back. Now, the Mantis Blades, this is the first time we've heard about the Mantis Blades on Bitboy. And so we might want to go back to more of the Mantis Blades being described as we introduce him, or more of them being used as he destroys that carload of operators or agents that have come to take out Cole and Ricardo from going to space. Also, we've got to figure out who those people are, because at first they were agents of Alpha Corp, and Alpha Corp was going to Alpha Corp is using them to go get the dark matter, so it doesn't quite make sense that they're attacking it doesn't make sense that they're attacking Cole and Ricardo, now that I think about it. So we have to have another reason that people are attacking Cole and Ricardo, so that we can show Bitboy use his powers, go kill some people. Also, go into the first version of Anti-Gravity, the first one written with me and Bobby Enos, and go on there and stop recording again, and read some more of the interesting origins of Bitboy, going into like the Hindu doctors that tried to make him right, and them messing up his hardware and software so that he doesn't have the ability to stop drinking things that will kill him. Let's see here. We have to have Sharon and Emily turn over the encrypted drive to the collective when they drop off the crystals. So it's going to be the unencrypted drive that Bitboy unlocked. They're going to be turning that over to the collective, because we never ended up doing that and getting that to the hands of the collective after it went through Cole. And then we also want to change the timeline on the crystals with Max. It says that Max just barely got them turned into crystals Friday morning, and he didn't want to put them up. But the crystals are going to stay good for 11 days. So it lasts for 11 days, and every cycle in the fuel cell is 11 days. And so 11 days prior to that, he crystallized them, and now they're about to turn back to Dark X, and you got to turn them in within 24 hours before they turn into Dark X, according to company policy and protocol. And we see that Max has messed that up, so we got to go back to that chapter with Max and fix that. Okay, and so now I'm just going to feed that word vomit that I just gave. Oh shoot, and I forgot this one over here, so I'll add this one as well. This is our first mention of the collective in space, as we see them out there making the joke about the snowflake. So if this is the case, we want to plant future appearances, and we also want to plant that Sam is communicating with the collective secretly, the same way that Taylor is communicating with Alpha Corp secretly. Okay, cool. So now this should change the structure of the whole thing. And as you guys are following along on GitHub, you will also see what's going on here. So, yeah, if you go here to our Telegram, and here's the air fryer that Triplet Dad is flexing on us right here. But here's the GitHub link. I think it's pinned. Yeah, no, it's not pinned. So we're going to pin this message, and you can find that under pinned messages. It's the GitHub link. It'll take you to the actual whole working file of the working, the source material, the working draft, the chapters. It'll actually, if you go in there, you can get a sneak peek at the prequel. So we played the prequel first part from Crispy Man. There's two big parts that have also been written to connect the prequel to Rings of Dust, and they are listed in text form right now. We might get into those later if we get to that point. But right now we're going to continually just go chapter by chapter through the whole thing, find inconsistencies, add paragraphs, add humor, add romance, add fights. Probably have to add some more action as well. But that's it. That's chapter 7. Rings of Dust as it stands right now, and yeah, now it's making all those changes. So if you want to see all the changes implemented that I just told Claude to work on and put up there, then you can go to the living document and read those yourself and see the difference, see the changes between what we just played and what's there. And so now, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys retweeting, posting, engaging, and most of all, I'm going to end this stream, and we're going to start another stream where I'm going to jump onto our website with our token, Darker Matter, and I'll show you guys how we play that and different strategies and ways that you guys can be ready to play the game that's going to launch after the snapshot. So I'll catch you on that one. See you in just a second. Love you. Ciao.